Best Friends Forever.
Ooh.
It's the one acronym I know from all the kids playing. So maybe we will be BFFs
Forever's
in the
a long
future.
time.
But forever is a long time. So I hear from a lot of people, so I can tell you this because I have there's no level of anything here other than me asking you questions, that people are saying he is in it for personal gain, literally opposite what you just said. He is trying to enrich himself. These are actual words I've heard people say to me. Now, I don't know, but I said, when he's here, I'll ask him. And you sort of just pointed out that is not your angle.
So here's my
So just,
angle.
I'd like you to just say your angle.
I
What's your...
I was built with a heart for service. Could I be making big money? Yeah, I could be making a lot of money. But it's not my money to begin with. It belongs to God. It's on loan to me to do whatever He wants me to do with it. So I received, keep in mind, this is gross, a $24,000 a year stipend from the taxpayers for serving in the House of Representatives. I received a small amount per diem, which until last year didn't even cover a hotel room for a week, and we're up here for 4 weeks a month, 4.5 months. Members of the legislature were going broke, and now we at least get coverage. Excuse me. Now we at least get coverage. Could I get some water?
Oh, yeah. Just grab some.
Excuse me. Now we at least get coverage for our gas, and for our gas and for lodging.
Okay.
Try finding.
Because you don't live near the Capitol. You're not right in the city.
I live an hour and 45 minutes away from the Capitol.
So you have to come up and stay for some days. And that's the other thing I was going to ask you.
And your days, by the way, are very long.
Of course. Hopefully,
but
if
hold
you're
on.
working.
And I receive a public safety pension from my time as a law enforcement officer that is about the same as the amount that I receive in my pension, or in my stipend. That's my income.
All right, so you're not raking in millions.
And if people think that I'm going to be getting rich with the Secretary of State, not at, I think it's $82,000 a year gross, which equates to 41 if you're lucky.
Right.
There's no perks, nor should there be. I'm not asking for perks.
Right.
So I think the constituents are a little bit, they're angry, but they're angry at the wrong people. It's not your state level government that's getting rich off the insider trading and all that. It's federal offices.
We see that.
And what disturbs me is that these people have somehow created an architecture, a scheme where they get to live by laws that nobody else lives by, and they don't have to live by the laws that everyone else lives by.
That's right.
So I hope that one day we have a legislature that has the courage to begin challenging that notion and forcing their federal office caucus to heal.
To make some changes.
Yeah,
in the honest direction for all fairness to everyone, really. I know, we appreciate that. And I do want to mention, too, that Mr. Finchem is endorsed by some of our local favorites here, Congressman Paul Gosar.
Great friend.
And
great friend.
Senator Sonny Borelli.
Another great friend.
Met him very recently. I've not really gotten to know him at all, but I am going to try to have him on also soon. Graham County Sheriff Richard Mack, who I've known for a little while, he is active in the law enforcement level, even though he's retired sheriff. He does have his organization.
CSPOA.
Thank you.
I'm a member.
I always get the letters mixed up.
Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association.
Great. And so you are a member of that.
I am.
Tell us what that organization does.
Well, it supports constitutional sheriffs. And a lot of people don't really know the role of the sheriff. We have, I think, 3,437 counties or county equivalents in Arizona. I might be off by a couple.
Okay.
Each one has a sheriff. Now, up in Washington State, they've stripped the people of the right to elect their sheriff, which is a terrible problem. But moreover, throughout the United States, the sheriff actually is the guardian of people's constitutional rights.
I've not heard it put like that
They're
before.
the only elected law enforcement official in the United States. Everyone else is appointed by a governor, a mayor, a county supervisor, county commissioner, parish, whatever. These are individuals who are beholding to somebody who
Right.
was
Who got
elected.
him there.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, conversely, with the sheriff is accountable to the people directly.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a check and balance against municipal law enforcement and the shenanigans that can happen at the direction of
Sure.
municipal governments. So, supporting sheriffs, and we are seeing more and more sheriffs now. In fact, we had a call this morning with some of the folks that are Secretary of State candidates and sheriffs. And I forget the county, but there was a little bit of a tiff between the county elections commission, whatever they are, and the sheriff. And they had said, well, you know, the sheriff has never investigated election fraud. And the sheriff basically said, well, I've never been asked. But now that you're asking me, I'm all in.
Really?
And now their Pandora's box has been opened, and the sheriff is committed to investigating election integrity issues, election security.
And we're talking about Sheriff Penzone?
No?
No,
No.
we're not. No, we're not there
We're
yet.
talking about
Okay.
a sheriff in another state. And I'm not
Okay.
even sure, I heard the sheriff's name, but I don't know
Okay.
him or her. But I think that one of the things that we have to remember is every county runs its own elections. We don't have state elections. We have county elections. Now, the information gets rolled up to the Secretary of State. Every county manages its own elections. So who better to investigate accusations of election improprieties, election irregularities, perhaps, I don't know, ballot trafficking,
Right?
a la 2,000 Mules, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Who better to investigate that than the sheriff?
Right.
The sheriff then has to work with a county prosecutor, and if the county prosecutor doesn't want to play ball, he's always got the relief valve of the state attorney general. But it's a professionally run criminal investigation because violations of election law are criminal offenses. Most of them are misdemeanors. There are a few that are felonies. But I think that the sheriff, you want to have constitutionally grounded sheriffs. And in Arizona, we have, I think, 12 of them,
Okay.
of the 15.
Okay, that sounds like a good start then. That
It's a good
sounds better
start.
than.
There's 3 that probably need to be replaced.
Okay. Do we know who they are? Do we say who they are, or that
Well,
loud?
you got
I don't know.
Maricopa County, you got Pima County, and you got Santa Cruz County.
Okay. All right. So we'll look those counties up for our sheriffs. So
Highly
speaking of-
recommend you replace those guys.
Speaking of elections, people ask, how come it took so long to count our votes again this time for the primary?
Well, from what I understand, and this is talking to one of the county recorders who got caught up in this, apparently there was a problem. It wasn't the counting. It was the data feed where the counties were trying to transmit data to the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
And something went down with the link
All right.
at the Secretary of State's end, and the data could not be transmitted
Timely.
timely. Now, at one point, I think it was, I want to say 30, I think he said 36 to 40 hours.
Okay.
As soon as that link was reestablished, the counties were able to upload their data, and within, I think you'll remember a day or two after, all of a sudden it went from very few votes counted.
J.C. Sherman.
Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Very few votes counted to this huge tranche of information that
Right,
was uploaded.
right.
That's what you saw.
Okay.
Now, here's my problem with that. Why did the link go down, and why wasn't there a redundant system?
Right. You'd think they would have had a handle on that this time.
Well, redundancy is, it's worth its weight in gold when your primary system goes down.
Yes.
So, here's the question. Will the next Secretary of State have the ability to create a redundant system? One that, and we're talking about redundancy in a number of different contexts. So, for example, every county is supposed to have an electronic ballot tabulation alternative plan in the event that electricity fails,
Sure.
the machines fail.
Which these days is very possible.
Which, by the way, means you probably have to count ballots by hand.
Right.
That would be paper ballots by hand. You don't stop counting until
They're
you're
counted.
done once you start.
Right.
That's a favorite
Novel.
of mine, by the way.
It's a favorite of mine, too.
Yeah.
And all of us who work the audit who counted ballots.
Yeah.
An easy,
By the
it's
way,
actually
for
an
those
easy thing to
people
do.
who are being told, oh, it's going to be expensive, it's going to take forever, it's going to do this, it's, okay, stop. This is fear versus fact.
Right.
It's a throughput issue.
Right.
That means if you have enough people and you design your ballot and vote counting system properly, you should be able to scream through counting these things.
As Florida did. I mean, it's already been proven
Right.
out that it can be done.
Well,
So
France counts tens of millions of ballots in 24 hours.
exactly.
Don't tell me it can't be done.
Of course.
That's
It
BS.
can be. We know it can be done. So is that something that, if elected, you would be looking at trying to help guide our state back toward something baseline like that versus the way it's been going?
I would advise the legislature that if they want to have election security and they want only legitimate ballots to count, they're going to have to move back to the system. We'll have to push the Wayback Machine
Sure.
and go back to absentee ballots
Okay.
that are opt-in. Now, I know that Adrian Fontes is proud of the architecture of flood the zone and
Yes.
send a ballot to everybody. Make it easy to vote
Right.
and easy to
Alive
cheat.
or dead, as we
Yeah.
know
Yes.
on the grassroots level.
My objective is make it easy to vote but hard to cheat.
Right.
So
that's
I
the
think
key.
that we need to get a handle on this, and I'll tell one very short story. There's a gentleman who contacted my office at the legislature, and he said, look, for the first time ever, we received 3 ballots at my home. My wife got one, I got one, and this gentleman's middle name is Michael. Okay? Hispanic name. 3rd ballot comes this year, first time ever, middle name Miguel. It's his first name, his last name, their address, the year of birth.
Different middle name?
He says, I have never in my life used the middle name Miguel. So fortunately he hung on to it. And once the vote cast record is available, we want to go in and take a look. Did Miguel's vote get counted? And
Right.
if so, how could that be if Michael hung on to the ballot and has it in his hand?
Right. So there's
So-
ways to check your ballot and your vote.
There are ways
So,
to do that.
Also, Votify Now is a good resource. I'm going to put that up later.
Absolutely.
VotifyNow.com. You're going to want to check that out too for the upcoming elections. And in November, we have one just around the corner. So how are you feeling, knowing you worked with us at the AZ Audit, you were a big proponent to get that going and keep it happening. Where are you standing now come November, and the ability, or the worry that this is going to become another big problem?
I will continue to have problems with the election until the day we stop using ballot tabulation equipment. Black box ballot tabulation equipment is the bane of our existence.
Right.
And here's an example. Case in point, Clerk Tina Peters running for the Colorado Secretary of State. This is the lady who smelled a rat coming from the criminal Secretary of State,
Yeah.
Jenna Griswold,
Right?
who said, well, we're going to do a trusted build on all of your equipment, your ballot tabulation equipment. And they're
Yep.
full on Dominion up there.
Right?
And Tina said, I'm not so sure I like that idea. My job under federal law is to protect the records. So she had a forensic image, and what that means, it's an image of the hard drive that cannot be altered.
Right?
She saved a forensic image before the trusted build. Then once the state
Which was
came
within
in,
her right to do.
her responsibility to
Thank
do.
you.
She
Yes.
needs to preserve those records.
That's right.
And she was concerned that she did not have a redundant system, that the records something might happen to them.